In this tutorial, I am going to show you how you can convert a Python dictionary to a Pandas DataFrame. And so for this tutorial, you need to make sure you have Python installed and you also have Pandas installed. If you don't have Python on your PC, don't worry. You can use your browser to run Python codes using Google Colab, which is here. I will leave this link in the description box. So just use this link and then you can visit Google Colab and run Python codes using your browser. So on Google Colab, you can just click here, new notebook, and then a new notebook will be open for you like this one here. And then you can just run your Python codes, or you can just click outside that box that came initially and then just go to file and then go to new notebook, and then you also have a new notebook. So just do that. I have a separate tutorial on Google Colab, so you can just watch that also to get started. So once you have it set up, you are ready to go. So here I'm going to give you some scenarios for converting the dictionary objects to Pandas DataFrame. So let's proceed. So let's look at what we do. First of all, let's import our library. So I'm using Pandas, so I'll just import it here, like this one here to get it started. So just do same. Now let's look at the first example, or the first now. So let's look at this dictionary object here. So let's look at this dictionary object here. Let's say you want to convert this dictionary to a data frame where you have the keys in one column and then the values in another column. It's pretty simple and then straightforward. So let's look at how you do that. So let's start. So let's create that dictionary object. So let's just say example 1. Let's put it this way. I'm using Jupyter Notebook, so I'll just use a markdown here just to format everything. Okay, yeah, so let's look at it. So let's start with that first example. So let's first create that dictionary object. So let's say data dect, and then let's create it. So there's the first key and there's the value. Second key, you have the value, and then third key, there's the value. Okay, let's just enlarge it further. Okay, I think this should be fine. Okay, perfect. So we have this here. So with what I showed, if you have a dictionary like this, then what we need is to have the key value pairs and then just feed us to Pandas and we will create our data frame. So first of all, once you have this, you just need to make sure you have your key value pairs. So that one, let's say data items. So we say data dect dot items. So we have it this way. So if you just do the query, let me just reduce the size. If you do the query like this, you have the key value pair. So this is the data format we want, so that we can feed that to Pandas. And so once you have this, what you do is I just say data frame equals pd.dataframe. And then you feed it with your data items like this, and then you run it. And so once you have it this way, let me just create it here. Once you have it, let's just add new ones here. Once you have it this way, just query it, and then you have your data frame created here. But if you look at this particular output here, you realize that the columns have what? 0 and 1 as their names. But what we want is the key and then the value as the column names, so that it's kind of reflects what we have. So to do that, we can still issue the same command here. Let's just use the same command here. But this time when you come here, after specifying the dictionary item, that's the key and then the value pair, we say columns, and then we put our list there, we say key, and then we say value. These are strange data types. And so once you have it this way, you can just run it. And then once you query the data frame, you have it appearing nicely for us here. So this is so cool and very simple. So this is how we do that for our dictionary. Of course, here's the index. You can also customize it. That is fine. It depends on you, but our focus is to just get this one here. So we have it here. So once we have it here, it's a data frame update, so you can just query and do other things with it. But those are things we will look at in later tutorials. Now let's look at example 2, where we have the dictionary, and then with the dictionary objects, we have each key has a number of items, like a list. Okay, so like what I'm showing right now, let's look at this particular dictionary and look at how we can convert it to a Pandas data frame like what I'm displaying right now. So you realize that this, we have each key has several values. So with what we have here, each particular key will be a column, and then the values for it will be under it. So we have that column name as the key name, and then we have under that column we have the values, and then we also have the others as that. So this particular one is also useful in certain situations, like where you have records, and then you have for each entry the number of records under it. So let's look at how we do this as well. So let's first create that dictionary. So let's just say records, and then let's say scores. Let's use it this way: scores or score decks. So let's create it. So we create our dictionary objects. Let's say we have name, and then we have our entries A, B, C, D. These are the names. And then let's get the scores. So let's say score. And then let's create it. So we have 90, 80, 30, 95. Let's get it this way. Let's make sure we have everything we need here. So it's perfect. Okay. So we have that dictionary objects. Let's put it here. Let's query it. So we have it here, perfect for us. So this is what we have. Okay. Now with this particular instance, we are not going to use a key value item strategy, but we will just feed to Pandas this dictionary as it is, and Pandas will do the rest. So let's say score data frame. So we say pandas.dataframe, and then we put our score decks there, and then we run it. So after that, you can just query it, and then you have them there nicely for us. So this is how we do that with this particular example. So it's very simple and straightforward. So it's just so cool, and then you can just try and then just get some stuff going. So let's proceed. So let's look at the third example. So we can have situations where you have some entries with without any values. Okay, so they will have values as none. Basically, like they don't have any values. So the values for those ones are empty, like this situation here where we have these names here. So notice we have a particular name here which is E, and then when we check the scores, there is no value for that. So we will look at how we can use Pandas to also create a data frame of this particular nature. So let's do that. So the same, let's just create our dictionary objects. I'll just copy this one here and then use that one. So here we have our entry here E, which has no value here. let's just say score depth 2. Let's put it this way. So let's run this. So query it, and then you see we have them here. So here we will use a different strategy. So let's just look at that. We will use the pandas.dataframe.fromDict, and then we just orient it and then just get that information. So with that one, this is what we do. We will just do it this way. We just say, let's just say score DataFrame 2, and then we just say pd.dataframe.fromDict here, and then we specify the dictionary objects, and then we say orient equals index. Let's do it this way first, and then let's run it. So if you query for this data frame, this is what you are going to have. Okay, so here what we do is that we just get it in such a way that we have them as indexes. So this is how we do it. So once you have it this way, what we do is that we now transpose. So transposing will let the indexes now become the columns, and then the columns will now become indexes. So we'll have it this way. So we now say, let's just say score data frame 2 equals score data frame 2 here dot transpose. And so here, if you come and query, let's query it here. Okay, so let's query it here. So score data frame 2. And so you have it this way. So notice how it has been done for us. So you notice that the entry E has none because there was no score for it. And so this is how we do that with this particular approach as well. Okay, so these are things you can do. So here, instead of doing this, instead of first creating a data frame here and then transposing, you can do everything at once. So you can just say, you can just use the same command here and then just, so we'll have it this way. You paste the command here for the same thing we did, and then we say dot transpose like this, and then we run it. And so once you query, you have it done straight for you as this one here. Okay, so first of all, I just made it step by step so that you know what is going on. But if you're an expert, you can just put those two commands here, and it will also be done for you nicely. So from here, you can even save it to an output CSV file. And so let's go back to the first example. So the first example to here, instead of first getting the data items here and then now feeding it here, you can also do it straight away. I'll just do that. I just thought I would do that for you to also see before I proceed. It's just so beginners will understand. You can do that here straight away. Like this, and then also run it. This will also give you what we have here. Okay, so these are things you can do. So these are things you can do to get your Python dictionaries converted to Pandas DataFrame, and from there you can do your work. And let me also say that this notebook here will be made available on my GitHub page, and I will leave the link to that particular page for you to check and then download the notebook for free. So get there, download, and if you're using Google Colab here for your work, you can just go to File and also download the notebook here in this format, and then just get them on your PC for your practicals. So that'll be all for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next session. Goodbye.